This is the future.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, Seagull Green here and welcome to another video. So we got this artifact over here, an artifact that a lot of people are hyped for, and I was a little bit hyped for myself. So what this basically does in theory, we'll talk about what it does actually after we take a look at the fights, but in theory this is supposed to give you more basic attack damage, that meaning damage on basic attacks increase and defense increase. And it's going to go at my level, which is level 4, all the way up to 210%. And the defense all the way to 57. I don't really care about the defense, I care about the damage side of things. And at the same time, you're going to get a debuff on the enemy that prevents them from tagging in. That's kind of useless in raids and solo raids, I guess, except if you're using Vixen and you use that debuff for the damage increase from Vixen. But yeah, let's take a look at some fights and then go back here and talk about how this one goes. Okay, so keep in mind that this is for the purpose of testing this bad boy out. It's not gonna be for the purpose of dealing the most optimal damage, because obviously this is an artifact that's meant to be used in like solo raids, and it's not supposed to perform that well in league raids without that additional tag that it gives us for solo raids. But yeah, we'll see how it goes for the League of Anarchy team over here. We got my boy Joker, and we had to use Class Superman because my Joker doesn't have armor pierce on basic attacks. Not saying that you shouldn't have that, I'm just saying that I don't have the resources to invest into that right now. So yeah, first of all, it's a very huge advantage that we're able to prevent Growth from tagging out. Couldn't live without that. But nevertheless, the damage is extremely weird. The damage is extremely weird because it's literally to the point where it seems like, first of all, regardless of the fact that we have a very small damage increase to begin with, it seems like literally the damage is not even transitioning into the dot damage, because the dot damage should be so much more compared to our basic damage, but that artifact honestly seems to be mostly increasing only our normal damage and not even that by a big enough amount. Boy, this is a little bit weird. I'm just gonna start off by saying that, though I might be wrong about the dot, but nevertheless there's something wrong with it. And yeah, we are at maximum stacks of the artifact. We're at 3 stacks of less of Joker's passive. And in theory, we should have a ton of attack right now. We shouldn't have that much attack, to be honest, but in theory, if this works as it says it would, we should be, this should be like the equivalent of having 2 all blade stacks active at all times. Or a little bit lower than that, a little bit lower than 2 all blade stacks, but yeah. Not great on Joker, but nevertheless, a lot of things are not great on Joker. For example, Beta Club, that does amazing on our characters, is gonna perform like absolute garbage on Joker. Let's give it another chance. Let's use Black Manta. Let's use Black Manta plus Vixen. And Black Manta is going to have all that crit chance, all that crit damage. He's going to have his passive that's going to even further increase his damage with basic attacks. And this giving us more damage with basic attacks should be amazing in theory, am I right? It just goes well, especially with his passive that makes him have to stay in the fight for a long amount of time for that to stack. And has to hit the same opponent. Same thing with this, you have to fight the same opponent for that to be up. It seems to be the best artifact for Black Manta in theory, am I right, lads? Just getting the special ones out of the way with Brainiac here. I can't wait to just unleash my Black Manta onto that Dr. Fate. Yeah, I messed up a little bit over there, but we're fine. Swipe down there. I'm finally able to chain a swipe down. I don't know why, but previously I think I had an error where my swipe down couldn't chain into a combo against Dr. Fate. Okay, we're gonna let him tag the super move here, because he had no problems with that, especially because of the defense we got from that artifact. And like, the defense is the most important thing. I messed up there. We messed up, sadly. Okay, as I said, this is not gonna be like the best, the absolute best gameplay, but still. So he's in the corner now. We're going to work our way towards 100 stacks. At this point, it's not the fault of the artifact, it's my fault because I played badly. But no worry, we're steadily getting towards max stacks. We're getting there, lads. We're getting there. We're almost there, and the damage is not that great. Boy, this looks terrible. This looks like slightly better if we didn't have anything equipped. But again, I'm not usually using Black Manta, so we don't really have a term of comparison. So nevertheless, maybe it doesn't work well with Black Manta either. But if it's something that works well on basic attacks and it doesn't work on the Batman Ninja team, then it doesn't work on anything, so we're going to put that to a test. And over here we're going to be able to have some comparison, though keep in mind, I don't know how this happened, but this is literally the most terrible luck start I have seen in my life. Those other two characters on Batman Ninja on Catwoman's team took so long to die! So long! This is by far the unluckiest one I've seen so far, so keep that in mind. So yeah, usually here with Beta we're dealing 70 million damage, and obviously I'm not expecting that. But with Claws of Horus we're dealing 20 million damage. Granted, we had a terrible start, so because of the terrible start we had, I'm expecting if we had Claws of Horus with this terrible start, we would deal at the very least 17 million damage, or even 15. Okay, let's say 15 million damage because of this incredibly terrible start, as you're able to see. Let's say with Claws of Horus we usually deal above 20 million damage, we would deal 15 million damage, so if this is not at the very least 15 million damage, I don't know how this goes. But yeah, now we get to actually seeing the damage. We have fully stacked that. Maybe we haven't fully stacked the lethal, so we'll give it a little bit of time. Yeah, bro. Does this even work? We're dealing no damage. We're dealing no damage on our specials. It's understandable because like this is supposed to boost our damage on basic attacks. But on our basic attacks is yet again a laughable amount. Boy, this is terrible. And in theory, if this increases our damage on basic attacks by 200%, boy, stacking that with lethal and crit should yield some crazy amounts, because Catwoman is known to have some of the highest damage in the game on basic attacks because of the fact that she's got that lethal attack damage passive feeding into it. And that 5th hit from Grodd and that I don't know, man. I don't know, this doesn't look well. This just looks like it's not working properly, boy. This is terrible. It's lower than the damage we did with Claws of Horus. Okay, so look. Granted, this is only level 4, so I understand it's only level 4, so we can do better. But that's 210% basic attack damage is just not there. I don't know how it's implemented, but it's just not there and it's not working. Like, literally, the vibe that I'm getting, if this even works in any way, shape, or form, the vibe that I'm getting is that it's calculated this way. Because this is the only way I can explain this, doing worse damage than the Claws of Horus on Catwoman. Like, look, the Claws of Horus is going to give us 75% attack, more attack, and that's going to be the base attack. So if we had Claws of Horus on Manta, we'd get 75 out of this amount, let's say roughly 2k attack. We'd get 2k attack from Claws of Horus. And we're going to assume the literal worst scenario. We're going to assume the literal worst scenario. That the additional attack that we get from that, or the basic attack damage, that's supposed to be damage on basics, the worst case scenario we're going to calculate is going to be, let's say the artifact is going to only take into consideration our basic attack when thinking about that, and is only going to buff the amount of basic attack we have on basics. But even in that scenario, it should give us 5 more K attack. 5k more attack. That should be at the very least what we get in the literal worst case scenario, where it only considers our base attack. We should get 5 more K attack. And I think actually that's what we're getting, but it's most likely applied in the most retarded way possible. It's most likely going to see, oh, this guy's got 2.5 base, well, we're going to in theory have to give him 5k. So we're going to see what's his total damage, we're going to let him do his thing, trigger his crits, trigger his lethals, and then on top of the end amount we're going to add the 5k. Like, if this works, if this even works, the only way I see this is that it literally calculates that percentage that it says out of your base attack and literally adds that flat value after your crits and lethals have already been applied. This is the best and the only explanation I can find why this is terrible. I haven't gotten a chance to test out in Solroids. I mean, I used it in Solroids, but fights died too fast for me to be able to test this out. But so far, this thing is, boy, one of the most underwhelming artifacts I've ever seen. It's terrible, and it's far worse than Claws of Horus in terms of damage and league rates, and I was not expecting this, boy. Oh boy, I don't know, man. I'm just so sad because this looked very promising. This thing here looked very promising. Let's hope the free one is going to be better than this. But this one so far, though, don't shatter it. Don't shatter it. Don't do anything stupid yet. Because yet again, I've been wrong in the past about things and might be wrong about this one. So don't shatter it. Keep it for now. We'll see. Maybe it gets fixed in the future. Maybe they admit it's bugged. Or maybe I'm using it wrong in some way, shape, or form. But this just doesn't look good. Boy.
This is the future.